Just in time for a fast conversation right here on Good Morning Kenya. We are talking about green security and how security companies in Kenya can incorporate sustainability into their core operations and contributing to the protection of the planet. Peter Kinyanjui is the ESG lead at SGA Kenya and joins me here to talk about this matter. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you, Mike.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
Yes.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Karibu sana. Now, going green and incorporating sustainability and security, those two are not really mentioned in the same line, but first things first, what does it mean for private security companies to go green?
Interesting question, Mike. So private security is an industry that is widely consumed by nearly all industries. Because if you think security, you think immediately the security guard at the door.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's a conversation that's about being involved in security, delivering security services, with a certain commitment towards the impact to the environment, to the society. And so the nexus between security and private security is that we are talking about providing security in a manner that achieves sustainability for the future. It's no longer a trendy conversation. It's something that when we look at the magnitude, we start to think and believe that it is now more urgent than ever because of the sheer magnitude of the numbers of private security officers. For example, just to throw in some context,
Yes.
maybe 2 years ago, the former private security PSRA CEO estimated the numbers of private security officers to be anything between 1 million and 1.3 million. And so that, Mike, you can be able to see why it's an urgent conversation.
Yes, 1.3 million within Kenya.
Yeah, just within Kenya. Within Kenya, if you think about it, when you go home, there's a guard at your house. When you come to these premises, there are 2, 3, 4 guards. When you go to hotels, when you go to churches, when you go to shopping malls, and cumulatively, because all these guys are registered, that's the number. Yeah.
How can now these private security firms and even businesses adopt what is called sustainable practices with regard to the whole aspect of climate change and preserving the planet?
I think there are perhaps two ways, but one major way is adopting some certain governance structures that become the backbone about your on the formula and the approach that you take towards meeting your sustainability objectives. For example, we have some standards set out by ICOCA. ICOCA is a body that concerns themselves with international standards on the code of conduct of private security organizations with respect to their impact to the society, with respect to their their relationship towards the prevention of human rights abuse. And it's a big topic there. So a governance structure entrenched in an organization creates the sense of accountability in an organization that, number one, we are aware where we are with respect to our environmental impact. And so it begins from measurements. Are we measuring our environmental impact? For instance, you will have any organizational formation, that's police, private security, doesn't matter. They have a fleet of motor vehicles. This fleet are emitting fluorocarbons. They are emitting dangerous gases into the atmosphere. So to what extent are you working towards ensuring that all this impact has been managed? So the governance structure shows you the how. Then the second thing is the willingness. The problem, Mike, is sometimes some organization in Sabit, neither here nor there, just don't seem to appreciate their role and responsibility towards the organization. When we talk about, for example, the organization that I work in, SGA, we have adopted Ecological principles within our governance structure. We are also ISO 18788, and so the willingness of companies to just, say, let's stop playing around. Let's prioritize our environment for future generations isn't there. Yeah.
What about the aspect of financing? Because we talked about governance. What about the aspect of financing? Because these are efforts that would also require a good injection of some funds into it.
Yeah, so there are two things, Mike. If you want to buy a car, first of all, you start by deciding that you want to buy a car. Yes. You could have money, but unless you take the decision. So organizations, number one, need to take the decision. And the second thing is, think about different financing models. And I think this is where banks would need to collaborate and form a product that may I say, entices organizations towards investing in sustainability. Because it is true, I will not sit here and pretend that it is not cost intensive. Yes. A good example is what we call solar energy. To convert from the regular grid to solar is quite a substantial capital investment, and many boards may not have that budget on hand. So I think organizations can seek reinvestment from the boards. Organizations can seek partnership with banks and other financing institutions to bridge the gap. Yes. And then the second thing is that consumers of security need to also encourage the conversation by making sure that you are looking at organizations that are aligning themselves with sustainability, because we are not going to change the society, Mike, if we keep on hoping things will be better, whilst our own selves are not committed towards partnering with those organizations that prioritize sustainability. That means that, for example, if I am to offer you a CCTV camera, which, by the way, we do, then I am offering you, one that has been marked with, meets the environmental threshold of sustainability. I can offer you solutions that are paired with solar and what have you.
In terms of technology, the world is fast changing, and the aspect of technology cannot be ignored. And my question here is, how can technology help in creating a balance between operational efficiency and environmental responsibilities, especially within the private security sector?
So I'll tell you a fun fact. It takes 15,000 pages of paper to destroy a whole pine tree. You know a pine tree?
Yes.
Paper comes from tree.
Yes.
And the interesting thing here is that many organizations will still put a book at the reception to register the people who are coming in. So technology such as visitor management systems can come in to ensure that there is less stress on the paper that is being expensed to achieve the objective of registering personnel. That's an example of where technology can come in, Mike. Yeah.
In terms of, let's look at community and engagement. Many private security guards live within the communities that they serve. So the question here is, how can they be champions of environmental initiatives within the communities that they serve?
Interesting question, Mike, there, because it is true that a majority of the guards come from the society, and so ISO 18788 of 2015 is a management standard that ensures that a private security organization that is working within a society is number one, aware of the stakeholders, number two, being very deliberate about how it is managing the stakeholders, amongst which is the community. So there are there are a couple of conversations here. Number one, our security guards can be champions of sustainability by recognizing their roles, their own individual roles towards changing the environment and what we know it to be today. We say, oh, you know, it's becoming an unsafe country, but what is your own individual contribution to safety? The second thing is we have to continue with the awareness conversation, so much so that the security officer feels empowered to be able to communicate to the neighbor, hey, don't throw the plastic away, because it is contributing to a lot of environmental stress to our environment. But also organizations can be clever, and I think this is why we have you know, set ourselves apart. Think about, for example, if you have a guard force of 10,000 people, and every security officer will have a change of 2 to 3 uniforms every year or two.
Yes.
And so there's a changeover. Are we taking this uniform and dumping it into the dustbin because you know, you have worn it and now you need new clothes? No. SGA is becoming clever about repurposing uniforms so that within the communities can help to ameliorate the weight of the social impact on the community, for example, by providing school bags. So we will repurpose old uniforms and create a school bag that school-going children would be able to carry their books.
Yes.
And Mike, we would not be honest to ourselves if we do not admit that we know in our society there are people who go to school without bags. Yeah.
From your perspective, do you believe that private security firms can change the mindsets of the communities within which they serve in as far as environmental conservation is concerned?
Yeah, I do believe because I think within any sector, private security has the most membership. And so when you have the most membership and you are deliberate about you know, trickling down the knowledge to these guys, you stand a chance towards changing the trajectory on sustainability. But there's also the issue of governance I'd like to mention about. And this is the manner in which private security coexist within the society in which they exist in. So to what extent does private security organizations or any security outfit like the National Police you know, respect human rights? What are the measures in place that have been put to make sure that there is controlled, you know, use of force? And this is a private security conversation, because we'll go to a place, we'll find a guy who's not acting right, we have to arrest them. There is the continuum of the use of force, the doctrine of the escalation. And so I think we can change this by all trying to do a professional job and investing in our people, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many systems we put in place, how many good paragraphs and pages we create, but until the knowledge is with the last man, we are not going to have a difference in our society.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You know, the aspect of technology cannot be ignored, especially even when it comes to private security firms. So how do you think digital patrols and smart surveillance enhance the aspect of making security greener?
I think if you didn't have cameras, then it means you'd have more people. I think if you'd had more people and you need to recall what has happened, then you'd have more logs. And let us also remember that the world, you know, because of artificial intelligence, because of the progresses that have been made through just even the cost of producing even something like a drone. So as an interesting fact, Mike, we have cameras that can identify you by face.
Yeah.
So that means if you've been a little bit naughty and you're walking around in the same way that sometimes I see there is a notice put out there of an individual who is being searched by the authorities. A camera can pick you up and identify you, and notify the person who's watching this on the wanted list. So I think you cannot disassociate sustainability conversations without looking at technology, because then you'd have more people, then you'd have more uniforms, then you'd have more cars, then they'd have more environmental impact, because you need to do supervision. So I think it is about reducing the weight on the impact of the society. So digital patrols, yes, it's just to put it simply, you could have an area of 100 square meter. You could have 3 guys walking around, but you could also have cameras that have been put that are intelligent enough to know that, hey, that's a boundary, and if someone crosses that boundary, then I should alert or alarm someone. And so you take away the expense that you would have, expense in the individual. But with regards to sustainability, I'd say this. A company that will not operate in a manner that is cost conscious and thinking about just how we can solve today's problems at a sustainable cost will soon find itself at a crossroads because of the continuous rising cost of service provision. It takes a lot sometimes to just have the guard at the door. But the challenge that we have is that, we don't have an appreciation of just how much the cost it takes, because and it's a culture issue, it's just an askari in the door. Yeah, with this aspect of technology, there's also the advent of electric cars. Do you see security companies fully adopting to this aspect of electric cars in a bid to reduce the carbon emission aspect? Oh, that's an interesting question. So I know for a fact, as you know, as everyone knows, most of the security companies that is into the business of responding to the alarm in your house have a vehicle. We do know that the National Police Service has a vehicle in every police station. And the impact of 1 liter of diesel is, I think, if I'm not wrong, is 1.3 kilograms of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So we have been an organization which I have to say wears the pride of being the first one in Kenya to implement an electric fleet within our establishment. Let me tell you how it happened. So we started our first year of sustainability reporting. It ended this year. And when we look at our carbon footprint, we are like, oh my God, we need to do something about it. Because as you know, you have seen an SJ car passing, with money, and the orange column. And our leadership, our board of management says we have to do something about it. And so we have incorporated, and we're in the journey of adding more, but we have a fleet of electric vehicles, something that has never been thought about before. But it's a tiny drop in the ocean, but that's how it starts. And so if all these vehicles gradually, consistently are changed into electric, then we would have less stress of carbon dioxide, of the toxic gas in our society. And to conclude on that point, there are some neighborhoods that you would walk into and you suddenly feel the air is not right. Yeah? And there are some others that you walk into and you feel like, oh, this is blissful. That's the difference. The concentration of the people, the enormous over-reliance of the cars, the bad maintenance, and I don't blame anyone, but it's the reality as it is. So I believe that if organizations take the bold step in investing in this direction, then we have a chance. We have a chance. And we have a chance.
Finally, how in all this matters to do with sustainability, how do you think companies, private security companies and organizations can adapt sustainability and still maintain a competitive edge?
Yeah. Well, that's a hard one. That's a hard one, man, because it's a bold and daring step into a direction that not many people are walking to. They are gradually awakening to the need to be sustainable. And as we started by saying, it's quite cost intensive.
Yes.
So it takes, first of all, an organization that is deliberate enough. But let us look at just what our society is. I'd say, start. Start small. Start by being aware. And make small investments. For example, if you have a tiny center, just ensure that that particular place you have transited or permitted to solar, and you will see that it constitutes it lightens the weight on the electrical grid and contributes to lesser bill. So there is an initial capex cost here at the beginning, but as you roll it out and in the long term, you get to enjoy the benefits of that investment. So yeah.
Yes, your final words.
Yeah, my final words is I think when I look at myself sitting here and everybody who is in a position of authority, the burden is on us. It's not on anyone else. This TV show is not for anyone else except you who's watching. And therefore, I think we have a responsibility to be aware. And let's start small. I like to take small steps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
That is Peter Kinyajui, who is the ESG lead implementer at SGA Kenya, talking to us about matters to do with green security. This conversation wraps up